My name is Jake Carlson. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I've been in Utah for about 3 years. I've done parkour for almost 10 years, and yeah, it's kind of the reason I'm going to school for exercise physiology and things like that, so good stuff.
So my name's Eric Higgins. A lot of the guys in the parkour community here in Salt Lake City call me Higgy. It's kind of like an online forum name that I used, and it kind of stuck. So that's kind of what they call me, just Higgy. But I've been doing parkour for almost 8 years. I'm probably one of the more veterans here in the Salt Lake area. We have a really good community of guys. We jam a lot during the summer, and we have a lot of fun. Most of the places where we train is up at the University of Utah, but we have all sorts of other places like Liberty Park, and there's places up in the mountains that we enjoy going to that have like different boulders and rocks that we jump on, and there's places all over. The best part about parkour sometimes that I think is when you're exploring, finding new areas, when you're just going out looking for a new spot and you find something cool that you can do. It's also cool when we're able to revisit an area with new people, and because we have that new spirit, that new environment of guys there, they're able to see the environment differently. And because they see the environment differently in their own mind, they start doing things, and it's like, oh, I've never thought about doing that on that thing, or that trick on that, or you kind of start becoming more creative in your own mind because of other people. You kind of like mesh together really well, and it's all because you're exploring new environments, you're exploring environments you've already been to. And that's basically what parkour is. Like, parkour is all about exploring your environment and trying to figure out cool and new ways to like just move, basically. Some of the original founders, when they were exploring and discovering really what parkour was, because back in the day they didn't necessarily have a name for it, and over time they kind of were able to develop the sport. And one of the original terms for parkour is to be creative, or to use your body, basically, is what an original term for it is. Parkour also means like obstacle course. There's lots of different words and terms that people use. Parkour is the French word for it, and that's what it's kind of more commonly been known as, but a lot of people also call it free running. A lot of people kind of define them a little bit differently. Free running is more like the creative, flowy movements with flips and other stuff, and parkour is your more A to B straight movements.
I think most people start it for the same reason. It's kind of something we've all done as kids. It's just a little more structured now. Every kid's played on a playground, climbed a tree, climbed on top of their house. We're all familiar with those kinds of things as kids. It's just as, like, now that we've gotten older and we've been introduced to something that's kind of been put in a box, and it has its own style and discipline and creativity. And like that's what's kept me going. Like, I use it mainly as a means of fitness. So some people have other ways of doing it. Some people do it just because it's fun. Some people do it because they can make money off of it, because some people do it to get into stunt work. But the main reason why I have done it and why it's kept me going for 10 years is because I'm in the best shape of my life because of it. And I want to keep being in the best shape of my life and keep doing something that I love for, hopefully 10, 20, 30 more years. Who knows?
A person who does parkour is not called a parkourer. That's not the right word. You can call it a free runner, or the French word for someone who does parkour is called a traceur, which I think is, if you were to translate it into English, is actually like to trace. So like you're tracing a line or creating a line through an environment. And that's a really common word used in other sports like BMX and skateboarding and skiing and other stuff, where they're creating a line or a flow of movement. And it's the exact same thing in parkour. We use a lot of the same type of words. It's just we have specific movements that we have words for. Some of them are similar in gymnastics as well. Like you've got a Kong vault, which is where you're passing over an obstacle, and in gymnastics there's like the Kong thing that they do. I don't know what they do with it, but I make sure if you like grab on a wall, it's not gonna fall or crumble on you. Make sure that surfaces aren't wet and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of it's just safety conscious, being aware of what you are capable of doing, and then being able to just go out and have fun and enjoy the environment, enjoy friends, just enjoy parkour, enjoy movement.